Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to tell you the story of how the World War II began in 1939. The road to World War II was paved with bitterness, ambition, and fear. It began in the ashes of World War I, a conflict that left the world scarred and broken. Nations sought to rebuild, but deep wounds festered, particularly in Germany. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 imposed harsh penalties on Germany, humiliating its people and crippling its economy. Germans saw their once proud nation reduced to poverty and despair, and this discontent became the fertile ground for Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party. The rise of Hitler and the Nazis. In 1933, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Promising to restore Germany's glory, he dismantled the Weimar Republic, replacing it with a totalitarian regime. Hitler ignored the restrictions of the Treaty of Versailles, rearming Germany and rebuilding its military strength. He promoted an ideology based on nationalism, militarism, and racial purity, blaming Jews and other minorities for Germany's troubles. His propaganda machine fueled dreams of a resurgent German empire. As Hitler consolidated power, other nations hesitated to act. Britain and France, still recovering from World War I, hoped to avoid another conflict. The League of Nations, established to maintain peace, proved weak and ineffective. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan was expanding aggressively, seizing Manchuria in 1931 and waging war in China by 1937. The world was slipping into chaos, but few could see the storm brewing. The road to war. By the mid-1930s, Hitler's ambitions were clear. In 1936, he remilitarized the Rhineland, a demilitarized zone bordering France. Britain and France protested but took no action, emboldening Hitler. In 1938, Germany annexed Austria in the Anschluss, bringing the two German-speaking nations together under Nazi rule. Again, there was no military response. Later that year, Hitler turned his attention to Czechoslovakia, demanding the Sudetenland, a region with a significant German-speaking population. At the Munich Conference in September 1938, Britain's Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain and France's Édouard Daladier agreed to Hitler's demands in a policy of appeasement. Chamberlain famously declared that the agreement had secured peace for our time. But Hitler had no intention of stopping. In March 1939, Hitler broke his promises and invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia. The world began to see his true intentions, but it was too late for diplomacy. That same year, Italy's dictator Benito Mussolini joined forces with Hitler, forming the Axis powers, the Nazi-Soviet Pact. One of the most shocking moves in the prelude to World War II was the Nazi-Soviet Pact, signed in August 1939. This non-aggression treaty between Germany and the Soviet Union shocked the world, as the two nations were ideological enemies. The secret agreement included a plan to divide Poland and Eastern Europe between them. With this pact, Hitler secured his Eastern Front, allowing him to focus on the West. The invasion of Poland. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using a new military strategy called Blitzkrieg or Lightning War. German tanks and planes overwhelmed Polish defenses, and within weeks, the country was defeated. On September 17th, the Soviet Union invaded Poland from the east, as agreed in the Nazi-Soviet Pact. The invasion of Poland was the final straw for Britain and France. On September 3, 1939, they declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. The phony war. For the next few months, the war seemed oddly quiet in Western Europe. This period, known as the phony war, saw little fighting as Britain and France prepared for conflict. Meanwhile, Hitler continued his aggressive moves. In April 1940, German forces invaded Denmark and Norway to secure access to resources and strategic locations. The fall of France. In May 1940, Germany launched a full-scale invasion of Western Europe, targeting Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. Using Blitzkrieg, German forces bypassed France's heavily fortified Maginot Line, sweeping through the Ardennes forest. Within weeks, Paris fell, and France surrendered in June 1940. The rapid defeat stunned the world and left Britain standing alone against the Axis powers.